Good morning, Facebook land. It's Jillian. So, yes, I need to cover this because this will definitely be part of the book, and I want to verbalize it so I can hear it, taste it, smell it, feel it, touch it, whatever. All right. So, yeah, viruses. Viruses. So, yes, wake up your microbiome and feed all the beasts in your body. And so that's the whole thing with the J juice, with salt, with even another influential virus, as well as electricity. Okay, because electricity also causes people to have some type of feeling, which is a type of evolution, because it's waking up beasts within them. See, that's why this whole thing with the Wi-Fi, the 5G, 6G, 7G, 8G, 9G, whatever, that's all electricity that is going to trigger a lot of different electrical conductivity activity within the microbiome. And so your microbiome is viruses, again, parasites, protozoa, proteins, fungus, and bacteria, and they all are run by viruses. And so that's why people feel symptoms when they do the J juice or when they are around any type of electrical activity. That's why maybe they get the C word, the cancer, because it wakes up viruses in their body that are not predominant, but they are very influential and take up a lot of resources, which is why then oncology tries to find ways to destroy life without destroying all of life. And it's kind of a conundrum with oncology. So, so the whole thing with the microbiome is, yes, that it is run by viruses, and you have so many different community of organisms, and they are beasts. That's probably all the monsters that you see all over Netflix and the movies, is those monsters that are in your body. They are the colonies. They are the colony forming units of different types of microbial species that run everything in your body, and they hang out together. So if you wonder who the aliens are the microbial species that you put under an electron microscope and you superimpose them, and you're like, oh my God, they have a face, they have a body, they have all these different things. And just like the viruses, when you look at them under an electron microscope, and they look like like little spiders that are with little vectors like men, and they go and inseminate everything in their path. Okay, and so that's kind of why, there's some interesting things going on in our society, and the new politics and the diversity is that we're not you're not everything's what you think it is, especially when things are politically categorized. Okay, so the beast. So when you feed the beast, you're feeding all the beasts, and you're giving them a chance to, yes, be energetic and get strong. But the strong ones that run you are the ones that are going to win out. See, that's why you don't starve anything, and you allow that your body to get all the nutrition, because every single beast in your body is going to work for you. And the ones that are weak are going to be, the body's going to carry it out, because you do have defenses. But if they're not, armed correctly, and they're not given all the proper nutrition, then those defenses lay dormant. And so you're going to see, people are acting a little crazy out there. They're running red lights, or hitting people, getting drunk, doing stupid shit, because the amount of electricity, not only in just like the wires, out there feeding all the different networks in the different homes, but then all the viral transducers. And they are waking up beasts within people. Sometimes it's okay, but some of these beasts are very starving, and they need to release. If you watch some of these vampire shows, when the vampires wake up from a long slumber, and now they're looking to feed, that's kind of what's going on in a lot of ways with all of this electricity, these viral transducers that promote electricity, with the Wi-Fi going to be going up exponentially the next 10 years. I'm telling you, the next 10 years are going to be insane because the amount of electricity and the amount of viruses that are laying dormant in 7 billion people. And then you trigger them with all the politics, religion, and science. It's going to be insane. So that's why I say stay home, stay safe, get used to being at home. Don't get used to doing what you usually do, going to the malls and going to concerts and even, and it's not even about the passports, because I could care less about that. That's actually the least of my issues, is the passports. It's the fact that there's so many people going to be waking up beasts within them because of the electricity and the viruses. There's going to be battles within people that are going to be translating out there. That's the fall of society when you think about it. It's the fact that before we didn't have as much electricity. We didn't have all the Wi-Fi. We didn't have all the different, modes of electricity, or modes of, highway traffic, super information superhighway stuff, right? Back in the 80s, 90s, we didn't have that much stuff. So there wasn't that many cables and all that stuff running through. So we didn't have as many viruses. Yeah, we had the AIDS virus, but that was like, okay, that was strictly through sexual type of stuff and bodily fluids. And I never got an AIDS test, so I didn't want to know if I even had it or not. And obviously I don't. So now with everything, with all the different politics, religion, and science, with all the different viruses being released and mutating, with so many people out there just under so much stress, and then yes, people reproducing on compound predispositions, and viruses are mutating, and you just watch the news. Oh, I don't watch the news. Well, then you'll be surprised when you go out there and someone, is acting erratically. You shouldn't be surprised. Okay? There are so many indicators out there that the world is unstable, that you stay within what you know and try not to be too adventurous at this point, because I'm telling you, it's unpredictable. But you can't live in fear. It's not living in fear. It's the fact that you know how society is right now, given all the stuff that's going on, and you're finding ways to protect yourself. I took myself out of mainstream 10 years ago. I started 10 years ago, and then I really went exponential. And so now with all the lockdown stuff, I feel like, thank God that the system helped me condition myself to feel okay not even going to restaurants. Okay, I don't need to go to concerts. I don't need to go to all that, So I'm perfectly fine just chilling, because the beasts are waking up within people. And it's going to be interesting. So the whole point of the jade is to wake up the beasts, feed the beasts, and the beasts that are causing the anomalous messages, they will be waterfalled out, or they'll be neutralized. Not too many waterfalls. And the beast within your body will then finally be able to work to your benefit and give you some indicators and warnings, let you know, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this, maybe you should do this. Helping you make the better choices in life. So you're not ignoring indicators, ignoring your gut feeling. Because some people ignore their gut feeling and they ignore indicators because they don't believe it, they don't care. But they're also working from beasts that are sending off mixed messages. That's the thing with an unbalanced gut. In children, in adults, in teenagers, a lot of people are working from an unbalanced type of energy, and they're working from that, and they're making decisions off that. That's the scary stuff. Is that people are working from that type of capacity, and you can't make them. They'll learn in different ways, but it's only going to get a little bit crazier with the amount of electricity and the amount of new viruses in the environment. And so that's going to add more compound confusion to an already confused microbiome that already has an expiration date, because people expect to pass away. And you see when people start passing away at the end of their life, whether it's 10 years before the end of their life or whatever, things start going downhill. Okay? And imagine having that, times 7 billion people at different levels of de-evolution. We have a baby boomer population. That's a lot of unbalanced energy going downhill. And so that's why I say to you guys, just, do the J juice, do a few waterfalls, release, the excess programming, reset the body, and then feed the freaking beasts that are waking up. Because you will feel them wake up, and they manifest in pain. They manifest in dreams. I've had so many dreams, like little snapshots of television memories type of thing, throughout the beginning and even in the middle of J juice. I would have like colorful dreams, dreams of flying, dreams of like my parents, or dreams of people from the past. I had dreams today, actually. It's kind of weird. I was listening to all the 9/11. I don't know why, for some reason, I was listening to the Howard Stern 9/11 radio broadcast when they found out that the towers were burning and everything. And so I'm listening to all the different other radio broadcasts and news broadcasts during that time. And I don't know. I mean, they may have said, cancer, people were all going to die from cancer from all the exposure to the asbestos from the towers. But just heard somewhere, I just remembered that everyone's going to die from cancer, or a lot of people are going to die from cancer. I'm like, holy shit. Cancer is run by a virus. Okay, cancer is run by viruses that are getting into the body, not being balanced correctly with the rest of the body. And so, cancer is going to take out a lot of different people, because viruses on top of compound viruses, and people are on low sodium diets, and they're on diets anyways. It was like almost like a prophecy in my head. And I know I'm listening to these 9/11, type of stuff, but that was the only thing that I remember in my dream, because I was asleep listening to some of the stuff. Because the last thing I remember when I was listening was them saying, "Oh yeah, we don't know if it's a plane or if it's a Cessna or if it's this. Oh, it's a 737." And I don't know why I'm remembering it, or why I'm wanting to go back and listen to some of that morbid stuff. Because I'm not listening to the YouTube videos of Jodi Arias and Travis Alexander, which I was heavily into just to listen, because she's very intelligent and just the whole situation was very interesting. But I don't listen to too many murder shows anymore, because those are kind of like ugh. But somehow I gravitated toward watching the 9/11 stuff, and maybe I'm just going like, maybe this is like another type of 9/11 that's going on, but in a different way. Okay? And so, you guys have to realize that you can't stop what's coming. You can survive it. You can survive it. That's the thing, is resistance is really futile. You're not going to win this war. But if you understand what promotes life and what causes death, and I've mentioned a lot about staying away from the holistic world and the allopathic world, get off the supplements and the pills and the powders and the detoxes and the spices and the turmeric and the honey and all that stuff, all the different cayenne pepper, jalapenos, and stop trying to stop your symptoms, but work with them, be fluid with them, feed them food, because symptoms are evolution. They're viruses. Everything is run by a virus. Every single cancer, disease, chronic illness, autoimmune disorder is run by a virus, and it's evolution. And people are malnourished, and so they can't handle that amount of energy, so they suppress it because it's very painful, yes, but it also takes away percentages of their life systematically, until you look at someone at the end of their life. They're either Jabba the Hutt, and I'm going to be very honest, or they're like the Crypt Keeper. So they're so overweight because they have so many unbalanced viruses in their body causing so much retention. Or they're the Crypt Keeper, where they're so malnourished that there's nothing to them. They're so skinny and they have like nothing to them. And so they don't survive the electrical environment, the piezoelectrical environment. So you guys can survive this if you understand how to feed the energy. And that is eating all food in the food supply. Do not play the GMO organic. You need a high sodium diet, fresh fruits and vegetables, meat, milk, eggs, cheese, whatever it is. Do not be discriminatory in your food supply. Do not, because you can't afford to withhold food in this highly electrical environment. And I'm telling you, yesterday I was eating chips, and I'm eating like a quesadilla, and I'm eating Cheetos, and I have to, because I feel the energy. It's not like I feel like the viruses, I mean, yeah, they are, but I feel the energy. I could feel the energy sucking the life out of me. And so with all this energy in the atmosphere, you have to keep feeding. Now, some people have a lot more to them, like a very dense bone structure or a lot more fat on their bodies. So the system or the atmosphere can still, they can still work in this atmosphere and they're still relatively stable because they have enough to give off to the universe. But some people hardly have anything to them. So I'm looking at my dog and I finally reset her body and now she wants to eat like 3 times a day. Like she's hungry. Yeah, she reversed the aging process. She recalibrated everything in her body. And so now I'm feeding her like pasta and ham and some of my probiotic yogurt. And, I put salt on it and and so it's like, it's feeding her is like feeding me. And because she needs to in this environment, she's felt everything just like me. But with dogs, they get like seizures and they pee in the bed and they do all these crazy things because their body has predisposition, just like you all. The viruses in this environment, the new viruses and the electricity are waking up the beast within her. So I had to deal with all of those beasts the last couple years. It wasn't easy. It's a lot of patience to deal with the beasts within you that aren't bad. They just need to be fed. They're starving. And those beasts, once you give them all the ammunition, they will fight for you. They will start telling you, don't do this, don't do that, be careful of this. Here's an indicator. That is your pineal gland. That's your antenna to the universe. When people's pineal glands are calcified, it's because they're so over mineralized and they are on low sodium diets that they don't have any other, sixth sense, so to speak, to give them the extra warnings they need. They're working from the little band of viruses they've been born with from their predecessors that every, generation in a family seems to pass down. Some people don't break the curses in their family, whether it's obesity, whether it's overweight, underweight. I mean, I see kids from back when I grew up, they were really skinny, and then I saw their parents. And their parents were either really, really skinny or very, very obese. And you see that these kids start turning into their parents because those viruses trigger at some point and they start dominating the system until somebody either breaks the spell. But here's the thing, when they break the spell, so to speak, or break the curse or break the virus programming, they either starve themselves. So then you have an obese mom, and then the daughter's like, oh my God, I don't want to be obese. So then she starts starving herself. She starts doing exercises. She starts doing all the different, pills and things to stop her from gaining weight. So she goes the other direction, the other extreme. So even though, yes, she broke the obesity curse in that family, now she's on the other end of the spectrum. There is no middle ground when you're trying to go avoid what your parents are doing. So I'm avoiding what my parents are doing, but I'm taking a middle ground. I don't want to be too skinny and I don't want to be too obese. And I want to be able to live indefinitely. I'm not trying to plan for my death. I'm not trying to be so productive that I energize myself out of existence like my predecessors have done. See, a lot of the politics that we've been fed come from a lot of different mentalities of, oh yes, you work hard. Oh yeah, you work hard. I work hard. But it's balance. You don't sacrifice yourself, which is a lot in the area that I live in. A lot of patriotic people, veterans from foreign wars, fight for the freedom. I get that mentality. I understand it. Work, 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 work until you die. That's the mentality out here. And how do you break people of that? It's almost impossible. Well, then how are you supposed to earn a living? Shit. You can still work, but not kill yourself. The reason why people work so hard is because they want all the toys. Toys are expensive. Having a big house and all of your hobbies are expensive. And so if you want all that, you have to work for it. Well, when you're wanting that much entertainment and that much stuff and that much hobbies and that much whatever distraction, it will take the life out of you. It'll suck the life out of you. So there's ways to enjoy things without having it, where you're not sacrificing yourself for all of your pleasures and all that stuff. And so that's what's the new world that's coming into fruition, is the fact that the old world, the way we did things, isn't really needed anymore because we don't need as much innovation. We need a lot of innovations. We need a lot of bodies. We need a lot of conflict. Innovation comes from conflict and chaos, which is why you're seeing right now, we're in a conflict, chaos, evolution. And so either you rise above it and be innovative without taking part in the war, or you take part in the war and you are then sacrificed in that war. That's the thing people don't realize. When you take part in a war, you're going to be sacrificed because you didn't start the war. You're reacting from somebody else's war. And when you react from somebody else's war, you're never going to win because you never started the war to begin with. You don't know the full story. You only know what they told you. That's the thing about drama in people's lives. They will tell you one thing, and you don't know the whole story. You only know what they told you. But do you know the full story? And even if you knew the other side of the story, are they going to tell you everything? So if you didn't start the war, you didn't start the conflict, why the hell are you taking part in it and taking a side? That's the thing. So the whole Jilly Juice mentality is not taking part in a war that you didn't start. So if you're going to start a war in your body, like doing the J Juice and bringing up all of your beasts and feeding them, then you know you're going to win because you know everything about the freaking war and all of the ammunition that you need to win the war. But you take part in somebody else's war, whether you go into a hospital or you get into somebody's conflict of their marriage or their family or a friendship conflict or any conflict where someone wants to be like, oh, I need to pull you into this drama. You get the hell away because you ain't going to win. You'd be set up to fail. Anyone that's pulled into somebody else's conflict is set up to fail. And so that's the whole point of the J Juice is now you learn how to be on your own. Because let me tell you, so many people out there have drama. So much drama. So does your government. So do other countries. And so this is where you need to learn to be on your own. And have very few people in your world, unless you know that they are so balanced that that they only need you because they want to hang out with you because they like your presence. They want to have coffee with you because they want to talk to you and say, hey, how you doing? But those are very few and far between because usually relationships are based upon need. Oh, I need you to help me with this, help me with that, this and that. It's very difficult to find someone that says, I want to hang out with you just for you. Some will. Some will have a combination of like, I need you and I want to hang out with you. But try to find a relationship where someone just wants to hang out with you because they just like your presence. They don't need to bend your ear or talk about a problem or whatever. They just want to say, hey, let's go and talk about the world. How's everything going? That's redefining new relationships in our world. And when everything is about medical or some other drama, that's what the world is based upon. I mean, I'm watching TV and all the commercials are about heart this and diabetes that and inject this and inject that. And I'm like, Jason, this channel, and he's watching the fishing channel. I'm like, yeah, he's like, yeah, well, it's always it's the middle-aged men that have heart issues that are watching this. So they have to cater to, because it's like fly fishing. I'm like, Jason, doesn't that tell you something? You stop watching these fucking channels. But he likes to fish. But so do middle-aged men with heart problems. So I encourage you guys to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet. All you need is food. Okay, all food in the food supply. You need salt. Do reset. If you're relatively proportional, reset your body a few times and feel all the viruses. Feel the mucus come up. When you get a tickle, don't try to alleviate the tickle. Learn how to exercise your diaphragm. Let me tell you, I had, back in 2018, after being on the J Juice for like a year and a half, okay, I was able to get a lot of mucus out, and I still had like a cold when I came back from the Dr. Phil show. So, and I felt like, the draining of the sinuses, and I was hoarse, and I could hardly speak. And I remember trying to interview with somebody, and I'm like, I just came back from the planes, 8 different planes, and so many viruses and all that stuff. And so that was the last time I felt a cold, was back in 2018. So I had no cold, no respiratory issues since then. And I was doing a lot of J Juice too at the time. And I was very skinny as well. So I reset my body several times over to where I was so skinny where I was unprotected, and it wouldn't fly right now being that skinny. And so this last COVID round, I think 2020, I felt the headaches and I felt all the different weird feelings, the hot and cold temperature. But the last couple of months, I did get exposed to the respiratory part of it. And it was from someone that was recently vectorized, which is not a big deal. I would have to deal with it anyways. But I felt the mucus and I felt the tickle. I didn't have I had cough, but it was a deep cough and it was a productive cough. And I didn't have the same feelings when I slept. I was able to sleep throughout the whole 3-week process of dealing with this. The thing that I had to deal with was the fact that I was coughing every so often, and it was a deep cough, and I was blowing my nose constantly. And what precipitated was, yes, the springtime and also being around that person. But a lot of the pollen was coming in, and I remember sneezing a lot, like a lot, where I had to wear a mask. So when I went outside to take care of my dog, I had to wear a mask because every single time I went out there, I would come in and just be like a waterfalls. Okay, and so I'd wear a mask so that wouldn't happen. And so the masks do help a little bit, but still, you got to deal with it. So I had to deal with a 3-week situation, and I only did 2 shots of J juice. Now, this is on a body that's been doing the J juice ever since 2017. Okay, so you probably couldn't get away with doing what I did, but when you do the J juice, you're going to feel every single predisposition, whether it's constipation, whether it's yeast infections, which may or may not happen if you're a guy or or what, hemorrhoids, skin conditions, headaches. Eye pain, hell, I don't know. There's so many. If you look back in your own history and all your predispositions, you will feel everything, because every single virus that you've ever suppressed with the pills, powder, supplements, and detoxes are going to come to surface, are going to be woken up. J juice and salt will wake up the sleeping giants in your body. And then you must feed those giants. You must feed them and feed them and feed them, and then they will be strong enough to kick out the lesser influential giants in your body. And that's the whole point of the J juice. And the J juice mentality is you don't starve viruses, you don't starve cancer, you don't starve any type of sickness. You feed it. And that's everything in the food supply. Ice cream, cake, cookies, steak, pork, chicken, bacon, donuts, cereal, cheese. I'm telling you, nothing is off the table. Okay? Now you guys must feed. And the ones that are all vegan and vegetarian, living out there in communes and trying to be organic on low sodium diets or on high sodium diets, all organic, only vegetables, they're not going to make it. The underweight people who live in communes playing all that stuff, they're not going to make it because these viruses are so aggressive. And they're doing so much J juice, they're going to be putting themselves in as a beef jerky. And some of them, I don't see them anymore on my Facebook because they are all into the farming, into the organic farming, wanting to sell the J juice protocol and the cabbage. It's not just the cabbage and kale. It's not just the salt. Though that's what a lot of these vegan and vegetarians and organic farmers are focusing on. Because they're all against the food supply. They're, oh God, Bill Gates is trying to kill you. No, he's not. He understands viruses. They're data. Viruses are programming. They are the platform that runs the computer system, runs networks, and they also run your body. So he understands viruses and using other viruses to stop other viruses from doing this. And that's the whole thing with biotech, is utilizing viruses to go and control other viruses. And then, yes, you have all these different diseases, but it's only evolution. You got to feed all those viruses and then, recalibrate your body, reset it. That's the main issue, is people have not reset their body. So they're doing everything I'm saying, like eating all the food supply, but they have never done the J juice, like the waterfalls, like they never did the resets. So they're eating all this high sodium food, but they still have the same programming. You got to reset the body and get rid of, recalibrate and reset your body to allow the old programming to kind of just wash away, and then you reset your body with the food supply and you deal with the new viruses in the environment. Because once you plateau, let's say you're doing J juice for like a couple of years, you'll plateau at some point. You won't do it. I mean, I didn't do it every single day. I did it maybe like once or twice a week. I said a gallon a day and I was really being very extreme, because there are cancer patients who weigh like 300 pounds that they probably could afford to do a gallon a day and reverse their cancer or neutralize it. But I mean, that really isn't for the main population. It's just for people who are obese and have cancer, because they have so much substance to them. They can afford to do that electrical type of, or highly energetic type of thing. But yeah, so eventually when you plateau, then you'll stop doing the J juice. And then when you feel something like a new virus, you don't do J juice anymore. You just feed it. See, all symptoms are evolution. And then you become this little antenna. Like I can tell when there are new viruses in my environment because I feel the heat. And I can feel the heat, and I feel like maybe a little bit of the sugar drop too. So then you become a sensor for things that you know are aggressive. You don't even need a freaking virus detector that you get from Amazon because they're selling that shit on Amazon, right? Oh no, you are the freaking antenna. You will be that sensitive. But those that are not that sensitive because they have so much conflicting crappy energy in their body, they don't know from which way is up. They're so cattywampus that the only thing that they're distracted by is just all the activity and the drama in their lives. They are not paying attention to their body. And that's why people suffer from cancer, disease, and chronic illness, because they're so freaking distracted by the world out there. They're not in tune with their body. They're going to leave their body to science to go and do experiments on them and then hope for the best. And when they pass away, they're like, oh yeah, it was meant to be. Okay, yeah, it was meant to be. You made it meant to be. So I'm going to tell you, the J juice mentality is by far probably the best thing you will ever know in this time, in this world, at this moment. And I will tell you, the universe set me up for this. And so you guys take heed. At some point, you're going to have to get off of all of your politics, religion, and science, and your anti this and anti that, and realize there is no resistance is futile. Now it's just being fluid with the environment and dealing with everything that comes your way. And listen to indicators. If you're in California in the high fire areas, get the hell out of California. What the hell are you doing rebuilding in the same freaking place that had fires the last year? But that's the mentality of humans. The indicators told them get away or stop doing this or stop doing that, and they will continue to do the same thing over and over and over again until there's nothing left. And so that's what the system is trying to phase out, are those that don't learn from their past. They're too fucking stubborn. All right.